An interesting painting is created using just 3 basic drawing steps and 2 techniques. In fact, to draw a painting as a beginner, you only need 3 techniques. And in this painting, we already have 2 techniques. So what are they?
Hello? Today, we're going to draw this picture. And this is what we'll achieve in today's video. Let's get started.
In this first step, I will guide you on how to construct the image using the grid method that I introduced in the 3 steps to creating a painting course. Here is the explanation and instructions, which is the grid method for constructing the image. To put it simply, you divide the painting into smaller sections and work on each small square like that. In this method, the important thing is to identify where the grid lines intersect with the lines of the drawing. This approach won't be unfamiliar to those who have taken other online courses from Boy. Now, let's move on to the next step. Similarly, here I will divide the paper into 9 smaller squares and work on each one. As I just mentioned above, I will need to mark the intersection points between the outline of the drawing and the grid lines, and then start estimating to sketch the outline of the shape based on these points. Remember, using straight and confident strokes will make your drawing look more solid. As you can see, the shape of the leaf is gradually taking form, and at the same time, I'm handling the other objects in the same way. The important thing to note here is to use straight, decisive lines that connect with each other. Only draw the outline of the main shapes. Don't pay attention to small details like thorns or flower stamens. And that's it. Now let's move on to the next step. In this step, we'll start blocking in the shapes by laying down the background from far to near first. The background here is a deep red, not too bright, so according to the color mixing method I mentioned in the previous lesson, we should use the most striking shade that comes to mind when we say the name of that color. So I'll start with red first. After mixing the color, I realized it needed to be a bit darker, so I added just a tiny bit of black. That made it darker, but I felt it needed a touch of yellow ochre to give it a slightly earthy orange tone. Based on this analysis, I'll keep adjusting by adding more if I feel it's lacking in depth or that earthy orange hue. You can also try applying it on paper to see its true color and keep adjusting little by little until you're satisfied. Start drawing the pattern on the background by outlining around the template and then fill in the pattern until covered. For drawing the pattern, you already know how. Simply draw the patterns well. Now you need to add more black to paint a darker red background at the bottom of the pot, and then blend the 2 areas together while they're still wet, just like I showed you before with the sphere and the apple. Now the first layer, which is the background, is finished. Now we'll start the next part with the green cactus leaf. So, to mix the green color, we first need to mix lemon yellow. Then, as a rule, we'll gradually add less sky blue if we feel the green is too bright and too fresh. Just like that, we'll put the color on the paper to check if we're satisfied with it, and then proceed to lay down a flat, even layer first with the green that leans toward blue, that is, sky blue. You guys should lay down a flat, even base for the leaves first. I need to make it darker by making a second pool of color based on the previous one for another leaf. Now add some black to create a third, even darker pool of color. This third pool of color is for painting the deep shadow areas of the leaves. Since the core of the leaf has a slightly reddish tint, I can also use some of the red from the background color to add a bit of hue to it. Now, let's add some yellow ochre to paint the color of the flower stem. For the brown color of the flower pot, we know it needs an earthy brown, which means we'll be working with red, yellow ochre, and black. And we'll just adjust the proportions of these three colors. We need to add some black and a pool of reddish brown to deepen the shadows of the pot. So we've finished step 2. Now let's start step 3, refining each part, working from the background to the foreground. In this step, we need to check the farthest areas first and make adjustments from the background forward. Here, I feel that my red background looks good now. I'll leave it as is and move on to check the closer details and the leaf. And of course, I'll need to work on it now. Since I'm almost out of this color mix, I need to recreate it by referring to the mixing history of the previous batch. Starting from the darkest area of the central leaf. Now I'll add more yellow to the green mix to get a fresher, brighter green that shows the sunlight shining on the cactus leaf. And I'll start blending these areas so the transitions between the color patches are smooth. To capture the chalky, whitish quality on the surface of the cactus leaf, I need to add more white to the color mix so that there's a lighter color, but it's not vibrant and looks a bit faded. That way, it gives the impression of powder on the cactus leaf. You can take a closer look at the sample to see for yourself. Look at this part on the screen to see up close how I draw with long strokes, pulling the brush down along the length of the lighter green leaf. By mixing in some white paint along with the darker areas of the background that I intentionally left behind, it helps to show the slightly uneven, bumpy texture of the cactus leaf surface. Pay close attention to how I deliberately leave some areas unpainted. And sometimes I use a clean, damp brush to gently dab the surface while the paint is still wet. Just like that, using the same technique, I'll apply it to the other details and leaves as well. What's important is that you always need to remember to work from dark to light. Start with dark colors, then add lighter ones. Layer them and remember to leave some areas unpainted. Now I need a bit of a darker color to outline the edge of the leaf, making it look thicker. Using a dark green color with just a touch of black. For a dark spot like that, you need a small, clean, and damp brush to soften the black area you just applied. On the palette, we also need to add a lighter color, like yellow, to brighten up the highlights a bit. This is for painting the same edge of the leaf, but the upper part, which is much brighter because it's directly lit by sunlight. Just like that, after applying the color strokes, you need to use a damp brush to soften the color boundaries. Now, just gradually add brighter and more vibrant colors to the tip of the leaf. Just remember to blend it out, that's all. Look at the screen. You'll see that if your brush has paint on it, when you place it down, it will create streaks and reveal the layer underneath. Just make sure not to let the contrast between light and dark get too extreme. Instead, it should blend smoothly within your area. Home, home, home. The word echoes softly through empty rooms and bustling halls alike. Home, a simple syllable carrying endless meanings. A place where laughter lingers in corners and memories are woven into every wall. Home is comfort after a weary day. It's warmth when winter winds howl outside your window. Home, home. Each utterance brings to mind familiar scents, the aroma of morning coffee brewing in your favorite mug, fresh bread baking as sunlight streams across kitchen tiles. Home is more than just four walls. It's safety wrapped around you like an old blanket passed down from generations before you ever knew their names. And so we say, home, again and again, each repetition layering another memory onto our heart's foundation. Home. 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 1,000 times over. 1,000,000 moments remembered. Each one whispering, here you belong. Here love lives quietly between shared glances at dinner tables. Between footsteps echoing up staircases late at night. Between whispered goodbyes as doors close behind us only to open once more when we return to where we started, from wherever life has taken us away from these walls called home. So let me repeat. Home. Home. The gentle hum beneath all other words spoken throughout our days. The silent promise that no matter how far we wander, there will always be somewhere soft to land, a place called simply home. Again I say it, home resounding through time immemorial, each letter holding stories untold yet deeply felt within every heart longing for belonging. Nestled safely inside its embrace. And still, it goes on. One last time now, the truly never-ending home, 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 home. In fact, I would even add more white and yellow if I feel the brightness isn't enough for the edge of the leaf to enhance the sunlight effect in the painting. Now, just use a strong yellow color and a small round brush to paint the flower. Structure, finances, menghua, virgin old, wakai, it all comes quietly. During exam month, the narrator brought it in. Apply a brighter yellow on top of the slightly darker yellow base, because it's an orange yellow using the tip of a small brush. With the plant pot, the rim's top surface will catch a lot of light. You need to show structure, light, and shadow of the pot. Before you begin working on your actual piece, it's important to get comfortable with the pen you'll be using. Start by taking a blank sheet of paper and making a variety of strokes. Try drawing straight lines, gentle curves, and quick, short marks. Notice how the pen feels in your hand, how much pressure you need for different line thicknesses, and how the ink flows onto the paper. Experiment with holding the pen at different angles to see how it affects your control and the quality of your lines. This practice isn't just about warming up your hand, it's about building confidence and getting comfortable with your tool, which can make a big difference in your final drawing. Don't worry if your lines aren't perfect. This is the time to experiment and learn. Take your time and repeat these practice strokes until you feel confident in your ability to guide the pen smoothly and accurately. Once you feel ready and have developed a sense of control, move on to your actual piece, applying what you've learned to create clean, intentional lines in your final artwork. Remember, every artist benefits from a good warm-up, and this simple step can help ensure your finished drawing looks its best. Observe carefully to estimate the number and spacing of the thorns, or you might mess up your drawing right at the simplest final step. Now, I'm going to use a damp brush to gently blur the base of the spines, to show that the base of each spine is just slightly raised. Now I'm mixing a strong white color to add highlights to the body of each spine. This is more of a fine-tuning step, so it's totally okay if you choose to skip it. And an important note, you don't need to add this detail to every single spine. Now it's time to peel off the masking tape around this piece. Be sure to peel the tape outward, because if you pull it inward like this, there's a high chance you'll tear your artwork. Remember to pull the tape outward. And with that, we've just finished our dragon scale painting with guidance, applying the skill of painting shapes to this pretty little artwork. What you need to remember from today's lesson is the 3-step painting process. Step 1. Sketch the outline first with a pencil. Step 2. Cover the paper completely with flat shapes and use the darkest color for each area. Step 3. Finish each section, working from the background to the foreground, completing each part as you go. In the next lesson, we'll move on to color blending skills and apply them to painting a glass face. Good luck, everyone!